Welcome to my presentation, which explores my current position in my own practice and personal project, also who inspires me, my target audience, and future direction and ideas. One thing that I found useful is working on my personal statement. My source of inspiration for my work is natural forms. I am fascinated with natural patterns which can be found in flowers, trees, shells, feathers, and even the patterns within waves. I am also inspired by the human reaction to nature. Some appreciate nature and some destroy it. We all have an understanding that a tree can represent sustainability and growth, and we associate the night sky with dreams. We are driven by a well which is highly technical, which I believe has had an impact on our connection with nature and each other. My main goal is to use photography and art to reconnect our self-awareness with ourselves and also to reconnect our inner self with nature. Nature provides us everything we need, from air to breathe, land to walk on, and water to drink. My main aim within my work is to create work that's different, daring, and challenges the normal expectations of nature. I want the viewer to experience a new perspective on the natural world and a new emotional response to environment around them. My main topic within my personal project is flowers. Flowers have been used by artists to create a story and personality in their art for centuries. From colour to the mood to the hidden language, artists have worked to capture the rich symbolism in flowers. Either as a background detail or the main focal point, flowers can represent a multitude of emotions and feelings, from love, passion, desire, purity, innocence, or even death. Flowers have been used within all art forms, for example, music, books, painting, and sculptures. Some of the most expensive art are flower pictures, which were produced by artists during the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. Artists have always taken note of the colour of the flowers to evoke a certain mood. When it comes to flowers, for example, the great one to use are roses. A red rose can mean deep passion and true love, while a white one can mean purity and young love. A yellow rose can mean friendship. Every flower has a special meaning, and flowers also have a similarity to our life. They are planted, they grow, they bloom, and then they die. People have used flowers to express their feelings, enhance their surroundings, and to celebrate important rituals. During the Victorian era in England, the language of flowers was as important to people as being well dressed. Flowers have normally been considered for women, but were associated with the wealthy, and men in higher class were very much involved in the gardens and flowers. One artist whose work has always inspired me is Annie Goldsworthy, who was born in 1956. Annie Goldsworthy is a British artist who works with nature to provide unique sculptures. He uses a range of natural materials such as snow, ice, leaves, bark, or rocks. He uses the camera to capture the moment before they disappear, or at the moment they are disappearing. Goldsworthy explores the tension of the work in the area where he finds his materials. His tension is not to make his mark on the landscape, but rather to work with it instantly to create a new perspective and an ever-growing understanding of the land. Another artist I previously researched was Georgia O'Keeffe, who looked at flowers in an abstract way. She explores the elements of colour, shape and texture of the object she paints. Colour is often bold but tends to come across flat. In Oriental Poppies, O'Keeffe depicts two giant poppy flowers with dazzling red and orange. The hollow centre and the inner contours of the flower are painted in deep purple. Oriental Poppy almost looks like a close-up photograph. Here I've included other photographers whose work has inspired mine. Currently, I see my work being in the genre of fine art. This was not so apparent to me until I received my feedback from my last module. So what is fine art photography? This is a very opinionated topic with no wrong or right answer, but this is my personal opinion. To answer that question, I feel we need to go back in time when Kodak's mission was that everybody had a handheld camera and they sorted out the rest. This was great for sharing skill, but not so great for professional photographers. Today we are faced with an oversaturated market where consumers are obsessed with phones and social media posting that just about anyone can call themselves a photographer. Unfortunately, this makes it hard for professional photographers to make a healthy living and competition is high. On a positive side, this is a great opportunity for talent to shine and to excel. The key word to take on board is consistency. The average photographer may take a brilliant shot here and there, but someone with true talent will be consistent and have a style that's recognisable no matter what the subject matter is. Fine art photography is more about the creative vision of the photographer as an artist and stands in contrast to photojournalism, which provides visual support for stories, mainly in the print media. A commercial photography may focus to sell a product or service. There is no escaping social media, and I'm guilty of using social media heavily to share my work and to reach my audience. On Instagram is a feature which analyses information about your followers. I have a greater audience in the age range of 25 to 54, and with a higher 56% being women. Most of my followers are from the UK, with 39%. Over this module, I've been thinking about who is my audience and how I'm going to get into my work to be seen. One idea was to try and sell my work at a local craft fair. I did find the experience a positive one, but I was disappointed it didn't sell as much as I was hoping to. What I did take away was that when it came to printing my work, it really did have an impact on my editing. Ideally, I'd rather sell my work in an art gallery, but I know this is more challenging and it's not going to happen overnight. While researching to find out photography, I found this amazing photographer called GRyder. I started by watching her presentation on YouTube and studying her work. She uses self-portrait of fictional characters inspired by her imagination and dreams. GRyder explores the darkness and light in people and in ways in which she can control her fears. GRyder is passionate about storytelling and creativity and is poured towards death, rebirth, beauty and decay. Book believes the greatest gift an artist has is the ability to channel one's fears, hopes and experience into a representation of one's potential. While her images come from a personal place of exploration, her greatest wish is to show others a part of themselves. Art is a mirror for the creator and the observer. I absolutely love her concept and her style. I've been so focusing on creating pretty images that I've overlooked the decay and darkness are also beautiful. I've been through difficult times with my life when I thought I couldn't get through it, but I strongly believe it's the dark times that makes us grow and develop as people. Someone once said to me, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. GRyder does use some form of nature within her work, but not the same as myself. What has inspired me is her skill and her concept. One photographer whose work I've recently found and surprisingly put me on a new path with my own personal project is Billy Kidd. He is a self-taught photographer based in New York. I've included examples of his work titled Decaying Flowers, which shows us as something beautiful and purely natural in the process of dying. He sees a beauty that other people often dismiss. The roses can be just as beautiful, even in a decaying state. The floral image has been taken with a black background and exploring the detail within the rose using a single light source. Billy Kidd had a solo exhibition, which was a study of beauty and mortality. The soft curls of the decaying rose petals reflected the curls of the female body, both showing organic imperfections of nature. There was a clear message behind the images connected with beauty, decay, and imperfection. As a flower travels through time, its body transforms and dries. The structure of the petal begins to emerge in age. The shape and the feel of the flowers are beautifully transformed into mortality and eventually death. I love this concept that beauty versus imperfection, youth versus death, and that beauty is life, not youth. If we stop thinking of death and the process of decay as the end of life, then we can see the beauty in decay and the need for it. My work now, compared to my last module, has changed dramatically and has a very moody look, which explores the dark side of nature and human emotions. I'm a believer that we can all learn from nature, and nature can teach us how to cope in situations and give us strength if we only stop, look and listen. This photo is taken from my mum's front garden, and the leaves are from a Japanese maple tree. It was taken in November when it's cold, dark and miserable, and the red leaves which are falling onto the ground stood out to me. The Japanese maple tree is called Acer plamentum, which is formed from two Latin words meaning sharp, hand-like. For a large part of the year, leaves are constantly converting carbon dioxide, water and sunlight into energy in a process called photosynthesis. Leaves won't be able to continue this process during winter due to the dry air and lack of sunlight, so the leaves change their colour. I wanted to create an image that explored colour and pattern, and just like Andy Goldsworthy, I arranged the leaves within the location in which I found them. They remind me of hands overlapping while falling to the ground in a symbol of meaning support and strength. I was inspired by Billy Kidd to have a black background which isolated subject matter, and including textures within the image which I've been exploring more due to GRyder's work. I feel my body of work is developing all the time. I'm exploring more to organic forms such as location when nature has taken over or been forgotten. There is something beautiful in the aging of decay. This could be the crumbling structure of a building or rusty metal. Decomposing is the central important part of the natural circle. For the moment we're born, we're aging, and that's a good thing. With age comes knowledge and appreciation of life. Nature teaches us that change is needed and should be welcomed. Thank you for listening to our presentation.